what leaders from government, business, civil society, and academia have convened on Davos to engage in discussions to address global issues and set priorities. The call for bold collective action makes the meeting particularly relevant. Discussions are centered around 5 key global challenges: cooperation in a contested world, unlocking new sources of growth, investing in people, deploying innovation responsibly, and building prosperity within planetary boundaries. Now, joining us on this show to discuss issues that will shape discussions in Davos, from climate change and the opportunities for Nigeria, is AVM Kenneth Iyamu, retired, an environmentalist. Good morning, AVM Iyamu, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Dr. Ruben. Good morning. Good morning, Rufai.
Morning,
and
sir.
good morning, our Nigerian wife.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. She's proudly Nigerian wife. Anyway, very quickly, sir. Now,
Happy New Year.
thank you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we have outlined the key issues at this session of the World Economic Forum with the theme, the spirit of dialogue. But it looks like there isn't so much emphasis on climate change. We were discussing all of that with Rutu Sodiri this morning, even if it's one of the priorities, because the global north seems to be insincere, well, let me say hypocritical, about all the climate change action proposals that the world has been discussing in the last few years. Why do you think that is the case?
Yes, thank you for having me, and thank you, viewers, too. You see, if you check the item of engagement, you see that extreme weather, climate change is even a milder term. Extreme weather is featuring very prominently. Don't forget, the World Economic Forum has placed climate change as one of the biggest risks in the world. Biggest risk in the world. And they are now creating a system-wide action, a service-wide action, and a country-wide action, and bringing the voices together to talk on climate change. Because what is now happening is, you see, it is coming at the heels of the Sustainability Summit. Sustainability Summit, see, the world is at a point where we have to act responsibly, where you have to use resources and do not jeopardize what the next generation is going to have. Certainly, the resources of the world cannot be replenished at the rate that we are taking it away. If you go back to COP30, now they brought on board to say that, look, this is the time to implement the Paris Agreement. It's not talking every time. We're going to implement it. The Paris Agreement is one of the biggest treaties in the world to have been signed. It's very ambitious. It allows countries to be ambitious, which is what Davos is also looking at. In fundamentals, Davos is trying to bring environmental effort into economic prosperity, which is very important. Because if you don't do that, you are going to have the poor of the world increasing every day. And they want to actually sensitize carbon credit, carbon offset, everything that have to deal with carbon, because the extreme weather of 2025, don't forget 2025 was the third hottest year in history. 220 billion was destroyed, and 40 billion of that is coming from the United States alone. So there's an economic aspect which they really need to look into, and the global south are the one paying dearly for this. They're the one paying dearly for this. If you look at it, the World Economic Forum since 1971, a gathering of a lot of people, classes, because they put them together before it was renamed in 1987, have always bring people together to create a service-wide voice to be able to talk on what is very paramount in the world at any particular time. And at this time we are talking, it is extreme weather and climate change.
Okay, Avian. I see that you are very optimistic, but about all these discussions around extreme weather climate change. But how about the role of the United States, the world's primary power? Around 2025 or so, or earlier, 2022, 2015, the U.S. withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement. This year, the U.S. has withdrawn from about 66 international organizations, or thereabouts, 31 UN-related international organizations, 35 non-related UN organizations. One of these organizations is the United Nations Convention on Climate Change, the UNFCCC. Now, how is that likely to impact on this positive expectation about climate change action? Because the UN is, the US is just the primary person, and what's his name, President Trump, is the star of this WEF.
Chairman Trump, please. Chairman Trump.
Chairman President
yes,
Trump.
you see, we've been through this route before. 2017, he left. Just, you give a 5 years moratorium before you activate the articles. Before activating it, President Biden came in and restored it. Now, what you will ask yourself, what are the indices? You will expect most of the indices to go down. No, electric vehicles have increased. Everything is increasing. The EU renewable energy has soared. So that vacuum is really not felt. It's really not felt, and it's likely not to be felt, because the world is calling the bluff and say, look, we have to survive. We have to survive, and we have to do the needful. Now, like I said before, the Paris Agreement is there. It's the first document that tied the whole world together. It created an ambition, and COP30 gave everybody, look, it was reviewing the national determined contribution, reviewing everything. The world is moving ahead. The world is moving ahead because the real solution now for, like you say, carbon credit, which is the incentive for verifiable carbon offset, the other part of the world, they are going ahead with it. They are encouraging the developing countries. Look, you see, we are now giving you the tradable platform to be able to sell your carbon. You see a country like Nigeria, the president the other day was talking about 3 billion. So the Sustainability Summit opened up a 100 billion green financing to be unlocked before 2030. Okay. So the world is moving. Let me just land on this. It's now how it's going to create the noise it's making to the streets and to the mindset of every citizens of the world.
And this is, I think, the imperative point for me, especially when we connect this with what's happening at Davos, at the World Economic Forum, is that the noise needs to be made, the conversations need to be had, but these fora that used to focus on these issues that were more multipolar by nature and more inclusive of global South development are now determined by the whims of the President of the United States. So we know that once he gives his address tomorrow, it's going to determine the pace and the conversation. How do we position these conversations that are inclusive for global South when we know that they are, I'll use our own term, strong men, if I may call him that, Donald Trump. We know that they are strong men who come and bulldoze all these agendas in favor of the ones that are imperative or of top priority to his own agenda.
How many speeches had been given before? How many? Did they affect the world? You see, the trajectory of the World Economic Forum since 1971, it was originally created for the European countries to study the economy of America before it was renamed. Now, it is very interesting that you have to note, Xi Jinping is not attending. Narendra Modi is not attending. That creates a whole lot of things for you to think about. And these people are the ones driving the renewable energy and the electric vehicles. So if the speech that will be there tomorrow, I'm sure a lot of people have already anticipated it. And they are creating an antidote to it. See, the whole of the climate platform is like a buffet. Countries are picking the ones that best affect them. The EU is picking the one that best affect them. China is picking the one that best affect them. The whole world is picking the one that best affect them. And they are looking at it in that particular way. You see, they know you have done this before. So it is not new. It is not new, and they are waiting. So I bet you when he gives that speech tomorrow, there's not going to be so much out of it because they have already prepared the shock absorbers and they are ready for it.
Okay. The sad thing about that buffet is that as with everything, Africa is not always on the table. We are always at the back picking the crumbs. Just like Berlin Conference where they shared Africa's wealth behind them, behind Africa as a continent with nobody being there. Just like this climate conversation too, that they've shared everything without Africa being there. We have no role, we have no say. And that's why at first I want you to talk us through the climate hypocrisy, the climate politics, and let me say, the climate poverty Africa is facing vis-a-vis the climate charity that they are giving to Africa, because we were a charity case. Most of the people that are going there from Nigeria, they are just going there to hear the speech and see how much climate funds can be released, and they will say they will do some small project and they will put money in their pockets in the name of one NGO. Man must shop, now climate hustle. So where does Africa play in all of these things, the climate hypocrisy, climate economy, and climate charity? Because it's just, we are going there to see that there's one fund somewhere so that we can write grants and they will get the fund and will say we are doing something too. We are not anywhere. True reality.
You see, I will slightly toe a different line from you altogether. Now, the Nigeria that you know, Africa and everywhere, are taking the bull by the horns. They are taking the destiny in their hands. I tell you, now you heard of IFRS S1 and S2. What do they mean? They are benchmarked for environmental social governance, which Nigeria is taking the lead for Africa. They were benched in 2023 by the International Standards Sustainability Board. What are we now doing? They are looking inward to say, look, we have to create sustainability. The climate finance is not Father Christmas. You really have to work very, very hard for it. And where I will agree with you here, when we went for the sustainability summit, I expected our marine and blue economy to be very forthcoming. But here we load vigor, we load imagination, we load creativity, and we load organization. So we missed that fund, that $100 billion dollars fund for marine, because we have a lot of things now to sell for carbon credits, particularly in Nigeria, particularly for Africa. Don't forget, COP32, we missed it, and that was a very big blow. It would have given us the opportunity, again, after Sharm el-Sheikh, for Africa to showcase itself, particularly for Nigeria. You have a lot of things going for you. You have 4% of the untouched forest. You have 854 kilometer shoreline. The trees, please, that takes me back to the FCT. You see, the way our ecosystem is being destroyed in the FCT is not going to support the president's cry for 3 billion carbon credits. The green area, they are not ad hoc, they are deliberate. You don't plant a tree today and call it a green area. No. No, those are the kind of things that the FCT administration should be told, that the economic value that is coming from allocating the green area does not support what the destruction is bringing. So Africa, Nigeria is taking the lead, and we have to really commend them for that. Yes.
All the things you are saying is still true. I know because you're on TV, we can't talk. But if we talk apart from TV, it's still the same thing we are saying. It's climate beggy we are going to do. 3 billion funds that they will release onto us. It's still to beg one way or the other. I mean, we are not. Why is that we are not the ones releasing the money for the carbon credit? It's still the climate beggy we are doing. It's still part of the hustle now. I'm saying because I want Africa to grow. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Well,
Dr. Bati.
As we begin to wrap up, I would like you to talk about Nigeria. Okay, I've heard all about carbon credit and all that, but Nigeria is rated 17th on the CPPI, which is the global, a measurement of allegiance, of compliance with the climate change goals. Nigeria is suffering from extreme weather, either in terms of rising temperatures or low rainfall. Nigeria is very low in terms of renewable energy. Nigeria is very low in terms of climate change policy, despite the fact that we have a climate action policy, I think 2022 or thereabouts. So, what is Nigeria really doing? Because we are not, we are talking about carbon credit, but we are responsible for a very high rate of GH emissions. So it looks like there isn't significant progress in terms of Nigeria's involvement in this. We are even talking about increasing oil and gas production, so which will contribute further to the problem with energy crisis. And in spite of the energy transition program that we claim we have in place. Briefly, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor, for this incisive detail. You see, for any country to grow, you must first of all become what you are before becoming what you want to become. Now, when the compressed natural gas was brought on board, on this TV, we said, look, that's the wrong way to go. That money should have gone for EV, because EV is one of the selling points for carbon credits. Very selling point. Because if we have oil pollution at a very high rate, we still have deforestation, we have this desertification, and we have poor energy penetration. The compressed natural gas shouldn't have been the way to go at all. Now, going back, you see, you have to invest. If you create activities without work, it's never going to work. Our climate policy, who is running it? Is it the ministry? Is it the National Commission for Climate Change? Who is running it? The National Commission for Climate Change need to come out and be more visible. Except when it gets to a conference of parties. You don't really hear them. You don't really hear them. Now, the whole world, everybody, every consultant, environmentalist and all, we know ourselves. And we talk to each other. See, Nigeria needs to do more. Nigeria needs to do more because our oil pollution is still very high. And that does not attract carbon credit at all. We need electricity penetration. And like that's why I said before, it's a buffet. The carbon credit is a tradable permit that enables you to do 1 ton of carbon dioxide, reduce it, remove it, or make sure that it doesn't exist in the world. And all of them, what are the benefits from it? You are going to get renewable energy. It enables the advanced country to come and invest. It's foreign direct investment, and that is what, because it needs rigor, because it needs imagination, because it needs creativity, because it needs organization. We are not looking in that direction. Okay. The oil sale is going down, and we have to be very creative. It is very important.
Okay, AVM, thank you very much. Although this is your reference to buffet. Nigerians don't understand what a buffet is. So I've seen people who will mix gari with jollof rice and also put salad by the side. And then they will put okra on top of it. Maybe that's a source of our confusion. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.